Welcome to Global Information Security Society for Professionals of Pakistan.
जी हमारे मैं देख पा रहा हूँ फारूक मुस्तफ़ा साहब हैं कुवैत से, मोहम्मद उसामा साहब हैं कतर से, मोहम्मद काशिफ मिर्जा जी ये मोहम्मद काशिफ मिर्जा I would like to just highlight thank you Dr. Saab for joining us today. Dr. Kashif Mirza has actually joined us. He's basically MBBS doctor, but he has several years of experience in healthcare industry, IT, healthcare technology industry, and I learned a lot from him in a couple of the discussions with him. So he joined us, with our special request.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, अहमद साहब एक क्वेश्चन है, वो मुझे भेजा सिर्फ उन्होंने किसी हाशमी साहब ने, वो कहते हैं why Yahoo, despite leaders in digital enterprise, search, email, finance services, etc., why it failed, while Google succeeded. So if you have any opinion and anything about on this one.
Right. See, I think the story of Yahoo is not more related to the trust factor. It instead is like their business strategies were not very efficient enough to help them transform themselves to cope up the needs of the rapid changes. That's why Google evolved really rapidly, at a much higher space and spread it all over, because Yahoo, if I'm not wrong, that in a couple of years they have changed, I think 3 or 4 CEOs of that time as well. So there were a lot of challenges, internal challenges they were facing. That was a failure. The reason I feel, or I know, as far as I know, it was the reason that Yahoo couldn't succeed in this front. I hope I answered the question.
Assalamu alaikum, Javed Saab, it's Abdur Rahim. I have a quick question.
Sure.
What do you think how this digital trust will evolve based on what we already established in the enterprises? And what will be the key challenges or the key things that the organization should adopt to have this digital trust either integrated or part of their GRC?
Right.
Because, yeah.
Right. So what I understand from the question is that what exactly the measures the businesses has to take now in order to implement or take this digital trust forward. As I said, like digital trust is we have to look the digital trust related efforts from a traditional trust related philosophies point of view as well. We are now getting into the digital age where the businesses are being started up or being transformed completely to be able to serve completely to their customers through digital means. So that requires not only the right set of technology being used to serve your customers from a digital means, the right processes needs to be altered as well as the right mindset has to be transformed. If we don't do that, then the key players who are the business lead, the risk lead, the technology lead, as well as the security lead has to sit down together at one table to come up with a business strategy to develop a trustworthy relationship with their customers and suppliers, considering the technological challenges as well. That's what is this effort is all about. However, there are different means to monitor that level, since this area is still under evolution. So different organizations are adopting and implementing different practices. which eventually will start getting standardized sooner or later. But core fundamental concepts I've explained, that there are three pillars. We need to look into these things to have a strong foundation to come up with effective digital trust strategies going forward. I hope I answered the question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, you.
Muneeb का एक question है. Sorry, dear. Muneeb, can you ask your question clearly? Which one you want, the SSP or the other one? Which one you are asking for? Okay, if Muneeb is not there, the one more question is the blockchain technology considered to be as approach for digital trust?
Blockchain is one of the application of what we are talking about here. Okay, it's a fintech is a completely different blockchain is a concept where we have to be implement as an application, as a derived form of an approach to achieve the same thing. We are talking about here a digital trust as a little bit higher level of concept than a pure technical stuff. So answer to that question is yes, it is.
Is there any framework for digital trust which has got a standard or been adopted in the biggest companies?
Yeah. So answer to this question is that, as I said, since this area is a completely newly evolved area, so standardization is in process at the moment, which eventually sooner or later will start having the standards specifically addressing the digital trust aspects of the efforts of organization efforts. However, which we don't have the pure well-defined standards at the moment. That's why different organizations are applying different practices. However, I did mention few standards which have directly or indirectly related to these things, which are privacy related or security related and so on. That will help as well.
But whatever we are doing around people, data, and systems, and we have a controls around those things, they are already giving some sort of assurance and compliance and some sort of, I could call it reliability or a trust. How this digital trust would be very different of whatever the organization are already doing by implementing various different management systems.
I think one of the best question, or one of the good question I have at this one. Thank you very much for asking this. What exactly digital trust will make a difference, or what exactly we are already doing? Digital trust concept will, as I said, will bring all the related stakeholders on the same table to run this efforts of privacy by design, security by design, zero trust model from a business context point of view, from the start, from the scratch. So everything will have to have has to be followed by design thinking to be designed from from a fundamental concept point of view, the privacy by design and so on. This thing is digital trust will make it different, because currently what we are doing, all the efforts are going into the separate isolated ways in a segmented or fabricated way, such as security is completely trying to secure in its own very narrow mindset that everything needs to be secured. And then risk people, they have their own way of looking into mitigating the risk. Business wants to go into the much higher speed onto the opposite direction. So there is no sync in between. So digital trust is something which will bring that synergy, that strategic alignment to drive these initiatives in a more effective and efficient manner. That's what is all about. I hope I answered the question.
No, that's a very good elaboration. So you touched some of the aspect of that. But if the independent bodies are already auditing the organization controls, and they do consider that the organization are fulfilling their duties, they are meeting their customer requirements, they are doing the business with that trust and liabilities, how this would really add additional value based on to the effort, I mean, which we are already doing. It would be an additional overhead in terms of technology, in terms of adding more processes and creating more work for people, where organizations are already having great challenges to meeting the compliance requirements in whichever industry they are.
Right. So I think I have to take this as a last question from your side, because there are many other people who are waiting for this. So answer to this question is yes. I mean, there are a lot of efforts have been put in order to have to achieve a certain level of robustness and the resilience and scalability and the infrastructure, and some certain good level of maturity in the business processes and so on. But the question is the level of when we look from the operational excellence point of view to achieve a certain an advanced level of maturity from a productivity and profitability of your organization point of view, that the organizations are not missing the good practices today or the good technology sets or the good people. What they're missing is the strategic alignment. That requires a strong set of governance mechanisms behind that to bring everyone on the same page, to put all of those efforts not in a different directions into a main, put united into a central pool of efforts to achieve a common goal. That's why I feel that that the digital enterprises, if they will start follow this concept, they will grow exponentially and in a more, I would say, a more trustworthy and long term relationships with the stakeholders and the customers, which eventually will help them grow much faster. And exponential increase will be in context of expansion and so on, but with synergistic efforts. That's the only way to bring that synergistic efforts with the strategic alignment and bring everyone on the same page. I hope I answered the question.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have, as you said, you have a time limit, so we will stop the session now. Thanks everybody for attending. So inshallah, we'll keep doing some sessions, inshallah, maybe on different topics.